Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Henry, and in today's video, we're going to talk about something that can be a bit tricky, but so important: how to think and speak in English. I know so many of you are learning English and maybe you're feeling stuck, or you're struggling to speak confidently. But don't worry. Today I'm going to break down everything you need to know to improve your speaking and thinking in English. I've got some simple tips that you can start using right now to make a huge difference. All right. Tip number 1. Start small. This is probably the most important tip, especially if you're just beginning to learn English. So many people try to speak like a native speaker right away, and it's just not realistic. You've got to start from the basics, and that's perfectly okay. Let's start by thinking about simple sentences. For example, I am happy. She is my friend. I like pizza. This is my house. These are simple sentences, but they're a great place to begin. When you start small, your brain gets used to the structure of the language and how it flows. And guess what? This is how every expert started. They didn't know everything at once. They practiced basic sentences like these until it became second nature. So, don't rush. Take your time and keep practicing the basics. All right, tip number 2. Think in English, not in your own language. This is a game changer, my friends. It sounds a little strange at first, but thinking directly in English helps your brain get used to the language. Now, I know you might be thinking, how can I do that? It's so hard. But don't worry, I'll guide you. The key is to practice it little by little. Let's say you're hungry. Instead of thinking, tengo hambre, or whatever your first language is, try thinking, I am hungry. When you're walking, instead of thinking about your day in your own language, try thinking, I'm walking to the store, in English. It won't happen overnight, but the more you practice thinking in English, the more natural it will become. And here's the best part. The more you do this, the faster your English will improve. You'll start to feel more comfortable speaking, because you'll be thinking in English instead of translating from your own language. Tip number 3, speak every day. This is so important. You can learn all the grammar and vocabulary in the world, but unless you practice speaking, your progress will slow down. Speaking is where the magic happens. I get it. You might feel nervous or even shy, especially if you're worried about making mistakes. But guess what? Everyone makes mistakes, and that's totally fine. The important thing is to practice speaking. Here's a little trick. Talk to yourself in English. Yes, I'm serious. Even if you're alone, start speaking in English. You don't need anyone else to practice. You can talk about what you're doing, what you're planning to do, or even how you're feeling. For example, I'm getting ready for work. I need to buy some groceries today. I feel happy because the weather is nice. You can also try speaking to your reflection in the mirror. It sounds funny, but it's a great way to get comfortable with speaking out loud. The key is to be consistent. Speak every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. Tip number 4. Learn phrases, not just individual words. This is a mistake that a lot of people make when they're learning a language. They focus too much on memorizing single words instead of learning full sentences or phrases. Why should you learn phrases instead of just words? Because, in real life, we don't just say random words. We speak in sentences and expressions. When you learn phrases, you're preparing yourself for real conversations. Let's say you're learning the word thank you. That's fine, but what if you learn the full phrase, thank you so much, or even, thank you very much? Now, that sounds more natural, right? Here are some other common phrases you should know. How are you today? Can I help you? I don't understand. What do you mean? How much is this? Could you please repeat that? By learning these full phrases, you'll sound more natural and confident. And you'll be able to handle a variety of situations, like ordering food, asking for directions, or chatting with friends, much more easily. Tip number 5. Listen and repeat. One of the best ways to get better at English is to listen to it all the time. It's kind of like training your ear. The more you hear English, the easier it will be to understand and speak. There are so many ways you can practice listening. You can listen to English songs, movies, or podcasts. When you listen to something, don't just sit there, repeat what you hear. I know it sounds silly, but trust me, it really helps. For example, if you're watching a movie, pause it after a sentence and try to repeat exactly what the character said. You can do this with any TV show or video you like. Don't be afraid to sound like the characters you're listening to. It's all part of practicing. All right, let's talk about one of the biggest fears that holds people back: the fear of making mistakes. I know it's scary, and trust me, I've been there. But here's the truth. Making mistakes is part of the process. Every time you make a mistake, you're actually learning. Think about it this way. When you were a baby, you didn't learn how to walk without falling, right? You didn't learn to talk perfectly right away either. It was all a process of trial and error. And it's the same with learning a language. So, don't be afraid to speak even if you're not 100% sure about your grammar or pronunciation. Speak anyway, because every time you try, you get better. The more you practice, the more mistakes you'll make, and the more you'll learn from them. Remember, mistakes are not failures. They're opportunities to improve. So keep going even when you mess up. It's part of the journey. And here's the final tip. Believe in yourself. This might sound a little cheesy, but it's true. If you don't believe in yourself, it's going to be harder to keep going. Learning a new language takes time and effort, but you have what it takes to succeed. You just need to stay consistent and keep practicing every day. Every little step you take is progress. You'll have bad days, and that's okay. Just keep moving forward. You are capable of speaking English fluently. It just takes time and patience. So, to wrap it up, here's what you need to do. Start small. No need to rush. Think in English as much as possible. Speak every day, even if it's just a few minutes. Learn full phrases, not just individual words. Listen to English and repeat what you hear. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Embrace them. Believe in yourself. You've got this. Remember, you're getting better every single day. The key is to practice regularly, stay positive, and keep believing in yourself. You will get there! If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell so you won't miss any of my future videos. And hey, leave a comment below telling me what tip you'll try first. I'd love to hear about your progress. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep practicing and stay awesome.